Pitcairn Island is the most remote island in the world today. It has no income taxes of any sort for individuals or companies. Now, I'm going to tell you how you can actually apply for the land there. Only Pitcairn Islanders and those approved for settlement and permanent resident status, their children and grandchildren over the age of 18, having chosen to settle permanently on Pitcairn, are eligible to apply for the land. Now, currently there are no charges for land for settlement on the island. New migrants who have been approved for settlement can apply to the Pitcairn Island Council for land on which to build a home within 6 months of arriving on the island. Now, once your settlement application is approved and you have arrived on Pitcairn, you can apply to the Pitcairn Island Council for a new migrant home and land site. Now, to construct your home, you may like to employ, local labor work, or you can do the work yourself, or you can bring external contractors if you want to on the island. Now, land is granted on a leasehold basis and then converted to freehold, and there is currently no charge to do this. Now, new migrant home and land applications may be made to the Island Council at any time within the 2 non-consecutive permanent residency periods. However, a request will not be progressed until such time as the applicant or applicants are on the actual island. Now, a new migrant home land site held by the Pitcairn Council for a new migrant can't be any bigger than 1,500 square meters. This is about 1/3 of an acre, so it's a pretty good size. I mean, 1,500 square meters is large enough to build a comfortable home with a domestic garden and orchard. When the Lands Court grants land to the Pitcairn Council for new migrant, the land's title is held by the Pitcairn Council for the new migrant or migrants until such time as they reach their 2-year permanent residency requirement. When new migrants have resided on Pitcairn for 2 consecutive years, they will receive formal notification from the governor stating they have been granted permanent residency. At this time, they can apply to the Pitcairn Council to have the land title transferred to their name. Now, the Pitcairn Council will not apply to the Lands Court for a land title on any of the other type of land category for a new migrant under this policy, including business or commercial land. Now, let's talk about building your home. Okay. Now, the cost of building your home would vary depending on the size and type of the dwelling and materials that are used. When approved, new migrants have completed the 2-year non-consecutive settlement period. They're eligible to access what's called the GPI home and personal loan schemes. A home loan is available on attractive terms to first-time home builders, providing up to 60,000 New Zealand dollars to cover purchases of materials. This is subject to qualifying criteria. Now, new migrants can, by design, build their home of their dreams on Pitcairn if they want to do this. Now, it takes some planning to actually get the right materials on the island at the right stages of the house being built, but it can, most certainly be done. Now, traditionally, homes are built by homeowners themselves with the help or paid assistance of local tradespeople. Now, many Pitcairnians are well skilled at carpentry, electrical work, plumbing, painting, decorating, building, and planning. Permissions are very straightforward as they are the first home free, and loans are available for that. Now, if your application is successful, you'll receive a letter from the governor formally granting you entry clearance for settlement on Pitcairn. Now, when a settlement application is approved, the applicant will receive a settler from the government granting entry clearance to settle on Pitcairn. Now, those approved for settlement are required under the Pitcairn Island Immigration Control Ordinance to arrive at Pitcairn within 12 months of the date of their letter of approval from the governor. Now, should an approved new migrant not be able to meet his requirement, they must contact the Pitcairn Island Immigration Officer to discuss options, and then the Pitcairn Island Immigration Officer will pass this information to the Deputy Governor and the Pitcairn Island Council for consideration. All right, now let's talk about relocating to Pitcairn. This is a very desolate, it is far out of the way place, I'm telling you. It is the most remote island on the planet Earth. It is possible to have your household effects shipped to Pitcairn Island. New migrants generally have their effects shipped to what's called Shuttle Express Services, Ltd, New Zealand. It's an international freight company, And Shuttle Express also handles all Pitcairn's quarterly freight requirements. They provide a very helpful and reliable service for the people that are trying to get this done. Now, subsidized freight for new migrants. The government has allowed this to make it a lot more cost effective for you. And that is, approved new migrants are entitled to the subsidized freight cost of 350 New Zealand dollars per cubic feet within their 2-year non-consecutive permanent residency period on household goods shipped to Pitcairn for settlement. Approved new migrants who wish to build their first home within their 2-year non-consecutive permanent residency period are entitled to subsidized freight cost, again, of 350 per cubic meter. I think I said per cubic foot, but it's per cubic meter. This rate applies to all the building, construction materials, fittings, and tools. This this provision excludes water tanks, which are freight-free. Now, after new migrants have been granted permanent residency, they continue to be entitled to subsidized freight costs, which are 350 cubic meter, and that's 350 New Zealand dollars. Now, container shipping size requirements and things like this, only 6-foot containers are permissible for freighting goods from New Zealand to Pitcairn on the GPI chartered vessel. This being due to Pitcairn's limited unloading facilities and health and safety requirements for long boat crew and landing personnel. Goods too large for 6-foot containers are managed as break bulk. Now, there is one grocery store on Pitcairn Island which is open 3 times a week for 2 hours each time. This is the only thing you're going to really have to get used to, is you just can't go to the grocery store whenever you want to. Probably because of the amount of people on the island. It's just not warranted for somebody to be there all the time. So they have time limits where you can go and then buy the food. Now, internet facilities are available, although speeds and capacity may be limited. Homestay guests will normally have access to local Wi-Fi facilities, possibly at additional cost. Same-sex marriages have been legal in Pitcairn since 2015, although right now there are none, according to this article I read, where it's strictly people from the same sex right now. Pitcairn Island is a British overseas territory of the UK, and you can get the British overseas citizenship passport after residing here. Now, the capital city is a place called Adamstown. The currency is New Zealand dollar. The population now, the whole country right now, is 57 people, okay? So, you're going to have some of those are children. So this is a small group of people. And, the language is English and Pitcairnese. GDP there is, this is gross domestic product is 152,000. The GDP per capita now, this will floor you, is $2,667. But believe it or not, and this is what you would see in Africa and a lot of poor African countries, but there really isn't any poverty there, because you don't have a lot of people. You don't have social programs. You don't have all this stuff, and there's no income taxes. So you can do a lot more with your money. And of course, if you got a lot of money outside, you're not paying any income taxes on it. And so, there's no corporate taxes or no income taxes. So, it's just, it's a unique way of living. Now, the Pitcairn Islands are a group of 4 volcanic islands in the southern Pacific Ocean, being Pitcairn, which is the livable island. Then you got Henderson, Dulce, and Oino Islands. Now, the 4 islands spread out over several hundred miles of ocean and only have have a total land area of about 47 square kilometers with a population of only 57 people. Now, Pitcairn is the least populous national jurisdiction in the world. Although the Polynesians were the earliest settlers on Pitcairn for several centuries, the islands were uninhabited when they were rediscovered by Europeans. Now, in 1606, Dulce and Henderson Islands were discovered by Portuguese sailor Pedro Fernandes de Queiroz, sailing for the Spanish crown. And Pitcairn Island was sighted on the 3rd of July, 1767, by midshipman Robert Pitcairn, a 15-year-old crew member of British sloop HMS Swallow. Now, in 1790, 9 of the mutineers from the Bounty, along with 18 native Tahitian men and women, settled on Pitcairn Island. Although the Pitcairn Islanders reported seeing passing ships 1795 and 1801. Can you imagine going that many years and not seeing anybody? It wasn't until 1808 that a ship landed, being the American sealing ship Topaz under Mayhew Folger. Now, Pitcairn Island became a British colony in 1838. The Pitcairn community was outgrowing the island, so the 3rd of May, 1856, their entire population, listen, this is the most populated this island's ever been, was in 1856. They had 193 people. And those people set sail for Norfolk Island on board of the Moray Shire. And then after 18 months on Norfolk Island, 17 of the Pitcairners decided to return to their home island, with another 27 5 years later returning. Now, the only permanently inhabited island, Pitcairn, is accessible only by boat through Bounty Bay. Henderson Island, covering about 86% of the territory's total land area, is nearly inaccessible due to its outer shores being steep limestone cliffs covered by sharp coral. Pitcairn Island does not have an airport, airstrip, or seaport. The islanders rely on longboats to ferry people and goods between visiting ships and more through Bounty Bay. Now, the Pitcairn government's attempts to attract migrants have been so far pretty unsuccessful. Migrants are required to have at least New Zealand 30,000 savings. That's not that much, and build their own house at a cost of around 140,000 New Zealand dollars. That's not much, but although there have been over 700 inquiries per year, not one formal settlement application has been received. Although the low cost of living is a benefit, only 10,000 New Zealand dollars per annum. That's pretty cheap to live. You got all the fresh fish you want. You can grow all your fresh vegetables. A lot of fresh fruits and vegetables, which I'll tell you here in a minute, you can grow there. But it's the lack of jobs and isolation, and this deal breakers for potential migrants. Now, one reason that it's so inexpensive to live there is you don't really need air conditioning, or you don't need any sort of heat there. And the reason is because of the weather. I'm not going to get into the weather with you, but it's probably some of the most perfect weather you'll see anywhere. So you don't really need expenses like that. And there's all the kinds of fish. You don't have pollution because it's so away from everything. So there's tons of fish all around them. And then you've got all your vegetable gardens. In fact, agriculture, if you're thinking about growing fresh fruits and vegetables, this is a great option you could go on. Now, let's say you've got plenty of money and you want a place that's got really good fresh air, great water. These are some things that you might want to think about. But the fertile soil of Pitcairn Valley, such as the Isaacs Valley on the gentle slope southeast of Adamstown, it produces a wide variety of fruits, including bananas, papayas. You got pineapples, mangoes, watermelons, cantaloupes, passion fruit, breadfruit, coconuts, avocados, a lot of citrus fruits, mandarin oranges, grapefruit, and limes. Vegetables include like sweet potatoes, carrots, sweet corn, tomatoes. You got yams, peas, beans, arrowroot. And Pitcairn Island is remarkably productive, and its benign climate supports a wide range of tropical and temperate crops. Now, all land allocation for any use, including agriculture, is under the discretion of the government. Fish are plentiful in the seas around Pitcairn. You got spiny lobster and a large variety of fish are caught for meals and for trading aboard passing ships. Almost every day someone will go fishing, whether it be from the rocks or from a longboat, or diving with spear guns. A lot of people use spear guns there. There are numerous types of fish around the island. Fish such as nanwee, you got whitefish, moi, you got paga, are caught in the shallow water, and then you got things like snapper, big eye, and cod that are caught in deep water, and then yellowtail and wahoo are caught by trolling. Now, another opportunity if you're thinking about doing is there's quite a few minerals that are there too. Manganese, iron, you got copper, gold, silver, and zinc that have been discovered within the exclusive economic zone. Honey is they've got some of the best honey, they say, of any place in the world. The British royals just love their honey. They've got in fact, you can't actually bring honey into the country because they use their own honey they produce there. That is one rule they've got. But it's got a lot of things that you maybe don't like, and it's got some things probably you do like. You're not going to have to worry about air pollution, water pollution, things like this, and you got all the fresh fruits and vegetables that you need. You got plenty of money. You're not being taxed on it, unless you're a U.S. citizen. You would have to relinquish your U.S. citizenship. If you're from a country like Canada, Australia that taxes its citizens big time, then you would have to tax. You would have to be out of those countries long enough to de-tax yourself legally. Move to a place like this, and believe it or not, you might end up making a lot more money because you're not paying income taxes. I see people that are in countries like Australia that continue to work because they just don't want to get working, but they end up paying more on their taxes on their investment income than they do on their business. So those people would be better off just going to a place like this, paying no income taxes on their investment income and no taxes on their work income. Now, if your business is done international, it won't make any difference if you're in Australia and New York or whatever. You got 8 billion people in the world. They do have internet there. That's the big key. So you can run your business as effectively from there as you can from any other place. Folks, if you want to know more on this, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button at the right of your screen right here. You'll get new videos automatically as they come out. And I look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.